Congregating at the headquarters of Pergamon Press in Oxford are the editorial board of the scientific journal Tetrahedron. All scientists look to such journals as a way of broadcasting their findings to the world. But the way that papers are evaluated by the initial referees leaves a lot to be desired, as editor of Tetrahedron Jack Baldwin explains to Robert Maxwell, its publisher.
I think there are an increasing number of people who use the cloak of anonymity to basically try to stop other people publishing their work. And I would ask if anyone here would like to consider the possibility that we invite referees to allow their names to be submitted along with their referees' reports to the authors of the papers. I would be happy to sign anything of a critical nature that I'm directing towards someone else.
Jack, some of those referees would be in danger of life and limb.
Well, then they would be more careful, and they would write reports which are entirely scientific. And this has happened.
Jack's boyhood passion for motorbikes and chemistry began on this humble street in Haywards Heath, Sussex, over 40 years ago. This house saw some pioneering experiments.
I think my first strong interest came from an early acquisition of a huge adult chemistry set. About an age of 10, I got this lot, glassware, chemicals, acids, the whole lot, and brought it home here and set up in a shed outside this house. And that really got me going. The whole thing was fascination from day one. I mean, it was a problem because frequently manipulating strong acids caused you to get burned or lose your clothing or destroy things related to the house, but it was a really fascinating experience. I don't know of anyone in my family, predecessors, who had any strong creative drive. And yet, from the very word go, once I got interested in chemistry, I wanted to put my mark on it. I wanted to do something, to make something new, to find out something.
This love of his chosen science and its important contribution to the British economy has made Jack an outspoken critic of its present level of funding.
Currently, the British taxpayer is spending something in the order of 500 million through the research councils to support, let's say, academic-type science in universities and research institutes. Of that 500 million, about 15 million is allocated to chemistry. And of that, about 1/3, say 5 million, goes into organic chemistry. I think it's nonsense. There should be a major change in the allocation of the resources. Good morning, Yoshi.
Good morning.
How are you getting on?
I am now getting on the synthesis of sulfone.
You've made the sulfone.
Yes,
The methyl sulfone.
Yes.
It doesn't look particularly clean to me.
Yes.
Is this pure material? Being involved in the trenches, I can see the first signs of change. I can see the way the battle's going. And I think that what's happening is that our major competitors in chemistry, the States, Germany and Japan, are putting more effort in. They are making more rapid strides, and it's already appearing the signs of a decline in our productivity, both in universities and ultimately in industry. Because time is running out and we need some results very quickly. I shall return tomorrow to see. In America, if you achieve something, you immediately get paid. Here you don't. We're all paid the same. British universities, everyone's paid the same, plus or minus a few thousand. So we're in a very socialized operation. In America, there's huge differences in salaries. Sometimes in one university, people who are full professors could be paid 5 times as much as another man in the same place. We must reward the good people, and the people who don't come up with the goods, well, they cannot be as rewarded. But we're under the control here of a collective mentality, and I don't think that's ideal for the scientific efforts in these universities.
Within the scientific establishment, such forthright views have made Jack Baldwin a figure of continuing controversy.
He's a very good scientist. I mean, I think on the whole, he's been a great asset to the department. I mean, he has his faults. I mean, he's a bit of an intellectual thug, I suppose some people might describe him as, but nonetheless, you buy packages, and I think overall he's been extremely good for our department.
At least it indicates a certain strength of purpose that I presume a thug must have to, to achieve his ends. Intellectual, well, I think I'm certainly as smart in chemistry as anyone in the competition. So I would think it's not an unreasonable, if somewhat disturbing title to more gentle souls than myself.
It's certainly a bonus to have somebody who is that aggressive as head of the department. But like anybody who's very aggressive, he's very hard to live with. But if you can cope with that situation, then he's a big advantage to have there as a figurehead to the department.
But there is another side to this forceful character that his colleagues seldom see. His loyalist supporter is his American wife, Christine, whom he married in 1976.
I can understand why people would say in his professional life he's an intellectual thug. I certainly don't see that side of him at home. He comes home often frustrated from the events of the day, the scientific life.
I got married late in life. I was 40. Up to that time, virtually all of my energies were devoted to pursuit of organic chemistry. It is, I think, a hard life in research, and I've enjoyed very much marriage because it's been a relief in some respects from the pressures I'm under in my scientific life.
Jack isn't the kind of person that pays much attention to what people think of him. He doesn't ever try to cultivate favor with people or encourage them to be his friend. But if they don't pay attention to what he believes is the truth, then I think that bothers him, particularly with regard to the establishment.
I have led this laboratory, the Dyson Perrins, by example. I've insisted that everyone working there should work maximum effort all the time, that we've got to compete internationally, and I've been able to attract a number of extremely good people to the laboratory. And the question I have for you is, what, if anything, can you suggest is going on in this strange chemistry? In the States, I was a professor amongst professors, if you like, a baron amongst barons. When I came back here, I wanted to be king. And that's basically what you can have in this country, at least here in Oxford, in the Dyson Perrins lab. What is there in a nitrosating system that is potential driving force? Even as king, my salary is something of the order just over 20,000 a year, and I have got the top position, perhaps in the country. Many of these other people are earning far less than me, yet they've all got very highly developed qualifications. They've spent a huge amount of their life in training for these positions. I'm afraid that if you take the view that your salary is a measure of what society thinks of you, it must be that society thinks rather poorly of us lot.
The Cutting Edge continues at 7:30 next Tuesday.
In 1987, this